Okay, there are different types of compounds. Now this is a type of compound. It belongs to a class called Tapurisa. And what's the special feature of this type of compound is that it consists of one noun or a pronoun in an implicit, indirect case. I'll explain what these terms mean. First, I give the explanation. Plus another noun, which is the main subject. Okay, what I mean by saying that the first noun in the compound is in an implicit, indirect case, that means that the noun here is functioning as either a genitive, dative, ablative, locative, but it just appears in the stem form. It's not declined. So the noun which is actually declined is the second member of the compound. So let me take some examples. Okay, we take the one here, kama kilesa. Okay, kilesa means defilement. Kama means action. So here it's literally action, defilement. But action, the word kama is an indirect case, and we can understand it to mean kamanan, or it could be kamasa. Either one would work. Kilesa. But let us take, the famous monastery where the Buddha stayed, called Jetavana. Jeta is the name of a prince. Prince Jeta. Vana means grove. Okay, so this is also, it's a Tapurisa compound. Here it's Jetasa Vana, the grove of Jeta, of Prince Jeta. I mean, there are thousands of compounds like that.
What does Tapurisa mean?
Tapurisa means it's tat, or actually it would be tad plus purisa. Purisa means man in the sense, but here I think it's in the sense of a man who is a servant of. Tad stands for him, so it's the servant of him. It would be, tad would be then tassa purisa.
Is that the actual name of the type of compound?
It's the name of the type of compound, but the compound is named by giving an example of its use. Okay, let us take, another one. Mano Vijnana. Well, we'll take Sota Vijnana, which means we render it ear consciousness. Okay, it's a compound. Sota is ear, vijnana, consciousness. So this could be understood. Sometimes one could interpret it in different ways. It might be sotena vijnana, through the ear, that's instrumental, by the ear, consciousness through the ear. Or it could also be taken tassa vijnana, consciousness of the ear.
Then that means the ear has no consciousness.
But the ear doesn't really have consciousness. The ear is the instrument of consciousness. So I think taking it as instrumental is better. Sotena vijnana. I would take it Sotena is instrumental, but I would understand Sota here as representing Sotena. This form, Sota, this is what is called the stem form. This is not, it's not decline. Yeah, it's just the natural form of. I have to get some examples from other cases. Anyway, I'll point them out as we come along, as we come to them. Okay, so going back, to the four defilements of action.
Four defilements of action.
Yeah.
And then we have Pahina.
Yeah.
I believe it's starting as the adjective, abandoned.
Yeah.
There are four abandoned defilements of action.
Well, the four, when for the noble disciple. Now you see, Pahina Honti. Pahina is originally its past participle, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't it serve as an adjective here? To describe defilements of action?
I would say it's still functioning as a past participle.
Oh.
Yeah. The four defilements of four defilements of action.
When abandoned.
Yeah, are abandoned. When they are abandoned.
For
Yeah.
the noble disciple.
For a noble disciple.
For a noble disciple.
Yeah.
And then we have Chatuhi, Panehi, the four principles. Very instrumental. And then Tapakama, which is bad action.
Yeah.
Not karoji, so does not go to.
Go to.
Karo does not do.
Right, yeah.
Does not do bad action.
Yeah. And
Four principles.
yeah.
I guess it would be who does not do bad action.
Yeah.
Who is the subject?
It's still the same note. Wait.
But the noble disciple is
Wait. Okay, wait, you're right. Okay. When for the noble disciple I think you have to take it this way. When for the noble disciple four defilements of action have been abandoned, and he does not do evil action, chatuhi.
He does not do where he implied.
Yeah, it has to be. It shifts so that now in this clause the Arya Savaka becomes the subject. He does not do evil action through in four cases of four types, maybe.
He does not do evil action.
Yeah.
Through four types.
Chatuhi tanehi. Tana has many meanings, and exactly what meaning would be relevant here when we'd have to see how the passage continues. But let's say on four grounds, let us say. On four grounds, he does not do evil action.
Okay, on four grounds, he does not do evil action.
Yeah.
And then we have Chab, Oganam.
Yeah.
Chab would be six. The second Chab is end.
Yeah.
Oganam would be enjoyment, possession.
Yeah.
And then genitive dative, so like a genitive.
Yeah.
For the enjoyment of possession.
Yeah.
And then would be apayamukani.
Yeah.
Leading to destruction.
Yeah. Read the whole phrase or clause. Yeah. Yeah. The savati. Yeah. So and then in translating, start with the verb.
Right.
Or start with the pronoun he.
He does not practice.
Yeah.
The sixth enjoyment. Practice for the sixth enjoyment.
No. Here. Okay, this is important. The cha has to go with mukani. because cha is seems to be a nominative. Okay, so he does not resort to the 6 apayamukkhani. I said it's a difficult passage, and then without the continuation of it, it's difficult to make sense of it. But I understand it. Okay, the 6, because I know the passage from its full context. Apaya means loss, like decline or loss. Mukha is literally mouth or opening. So these are 6 channels through which the loss, apaya, of wealth or possessions takes place. Boganam. Okay, there are 6 openings or channels. These are mukhani, through which the loss, apaya, of wealth, boganam, takes place.
The genitive of Boganam is in the word apaya and Boganam, the
Yeah.
of wealth.
Yeah. Yeah, so he does not resort to the 6, let's say, the 6 channels for the loss of wealth. But boganing is plural because in those days wealth was considered possessions. So for the loss of possessions.
So apaya goes with boganam?
Apaya mukhani goes with boganing.
So apaya mukhani means the opening.
Channel, let's say channels of loss.
Channel of loss.
Of wealth.
Of wealth.
Yeah.
Okay. So he does not. Then you're translating sevati as resort to.
Yeah. And I think the sutta as it continues, it explains these like gambling, drinking. I'm sorry, women. It's explaining for a man. There are 3 others. 3 things that well-established gentlemen squander their wealth upon.
Okay, so he does not resort to the 6 channels of loss or wealth.
Yeah.
Then we have Avon.
Yeah.
Shuddhasa.
Yeah.
Papagato.
Yeah.
Sa. How should I stop right here? So Avon.
Yeah.
So I guess he
Yeah.
does. Avon does.
Right.
Shuddhasa 14.
Yeah.
And now we have Papagato.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking it's the one who has gone away from bad, from evil.
Yeah.
The one without evil.
Yeah. What do you understand the meaning of this in context?
No.
Okay, then I said it's a difficult passage. Okay, you see, now it's completing the yato. Yato at the beginning of the passage opens up. That's the relative. When for a noble disciple 4 corruptions of karma have been abandoned, or 4 corruptions of action have been abandoned, and so on and so on. He thus, upagato means gone away. Papaka is evil. And Chudasa is 14. He is thus gone away, I would say, from 14 types of evil.
The types of evil beside?
The 14 types?
It says 14, but it doesn't say 14 what?
Yeah, but the way you get the 14, 4 defilements of action, and he doesn't do an evil deed in 4 cases, that's 8. 4 plus 4 is 8. And he doesn't squander his wealth through these 6 channels of loss. So 8 plus 6 is 14. If you didn't, it's not a good selection. Because one can't figure out what's happening unless you see the whole passage. Yeah, they should have also given the full references. It's from the Sigalovada Sutta.
Okay, so thus he has gone away
Yeah.
from 14 bed
Yeah.
evil, or
Yeah.
bad actions.
Yeah.
And then we go on to the Hadisa,
Yeah.
and that would be 6 directions.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about Hadikati.
Yeah.
I think it means covering,
Yeah.
enveloping.
Yeah, covering.
What does it mean? 6
Yeah.
directions, covering.
That's the literal sense. But it is first the form of the word. It's a noun of the type. Excuse me?
I-N ending?
It's of the I with the I-N ending.
Yeah.
It comes from a verb pati cha deti, which means to cover. So it means he is one who covers. One who covers the 6 directions. It's a strange idiom, I have to say. But if you remember the way the passage began, this young man was worshipping the 6 directions, literally worshipping them, because that's what his father had told him to do. And then the Buddha was told him that this is not the way to worship the 6 directions and the noble one's discipline. And now the Buddha has explained to him how to worship the 6 directions and the noble one's discipline. So it seems to mean that he covers, that he fulfills the worship of the 6 directions. It's a little obscure to me too. So we'll just have to pass over that. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay. Ubaya Lokavi Jayaya.
Yeah. Yeah.
It means Ubana with 2 bows.
Yeah.
Lokavi Jayaya.
Yeah.
Would be the basis of world victory.
Yeah. Victory. Yeah.
And then Patipano, past participle in the present tense.
Yeah. Right.
Practicing.
Yeah.
So he is practicing for both the world's victory.
Yeah. The sense is, I think Ubaya. I would correct the, what is it called, orthography, the way the words are represented here. I would join Ubaya and Loka without a space between them. So he is practicing for victory in both worlds, Ubaya Loka. And again, if one doesn't know the text fairly well, one maybe has trouble figuring out what is meant by both worlds. But it means this present world and the world beyond, the afterlife. In other words, he's going to receive. Well, the next phrase actually will fill out the meaning of that.
Well, if that's the case, Vijaya is a dated form.
Yeah.
Then if you combine Ubaya Loka,
Yeah.
do we change it to Ubaya Lokaya? Practicing for the victory for both worlds? For the victory for both worlds?
No, I would put Ubaya. Ubaya is an indeclinable.
Right.
It means both.
Loka, world.
And world, you join it with world, Ubaya Loka, so it means together both worlds. So he is practicing for victory in both worlds.
In both worlds, we need to use logically for Loka.
Well, this is a compound. So you could say, if you were to break up the compound, you would say ubaya lokesu vijayaya. And this is another example of a tapurisa compound, loka vijaya, victory in the world, you could say. Yeah.
So he's practicing for the victory in both worlds.
Yeah.
Hasa ayam deva, loco arado hosi,
Yeah.
paro chabloka.
Yeah.
Hasa would be for this, for him.
Yeah, for him.
For him,
Yeah.
Aya would be this.
Yeah.
Cheva, I would think that goes to the cha. Cha cheva would be both ends.
Yeah. It's the first cha goes with ayang loco, then it's completed by the cha just below, paro cha loco.
But cha doesn't have to go first. I thought we'd go with cha cheva, but actually we can go with cheva cha.
No, it's always cheva.
Oh, cheva
The,
cha.
the first cha gets the ava. It's
Right.
both. It's this and that.
Okay. So for him,
Yeah.
this is, hoti is, both arado would be well undertaken.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be both well undertaken in both this world and in another world. Paro loco.
Yeah. But this world, for him, this world is well undertaken, and also the other world, or the world beyond. But that's
This world loco.
yeah,
Okay, as a nominative.
yeah,
This world is
yeah.
undertaken.
Loco is nominative, and arado goes with it, so it's nominative. But now the sense is, we would say, he is successful both in this world and in the next world. But in Pali, one says, this world is well undertaken. Well, life in this world is well undertaken, as well as life in the next world.
So,
Yeah.
Kayasa, Veda, Paramarana, Ugatin,
Sugating,
Sugatin, Sakam, Lokam, Upapajati,
upapajati.
Upapajati.
Yeah,
The breaking up of the body
Yeah.
after death.
yeah.
Sugatin, Sugam would be, is it heaven? I know Sugam is heaven.
Wait, sugat. There's no sugang. There's sugating.
Sugatin.
Yeah,
Okay, so take the verb first. Upapajati.
Right.
He is reborn
yeah,
in the world.
yeah. Okay.
Heaven for the righteousness.
No. Okay. There are two expressions here. Sugating. Sugating means, okay, this is accusative of sugati. And sugati means good destination. Su has a sense of good. Gati can mean active going or place of going. Here it's a place of going, so it's a good destination. And technically it means either a heavenly world or else a good state in the human realm.
And how about Sagam Lokam?
Yeah, sagang lokang, those two words go together. That means heavenly world. Yeah.
So he is reborn in
Yeah.
a good destination and heavenly world.
Yeah. I would put a comma. I would say he is reborn in a good destination then kama in the heavenly world.
Not in.
No.
Okay, so the Sagang Lokam would be accusative serving and locative.
Well, it's accusative. In English, we say one is reborn in such a world. In Pali, it's just natural to say one is reborn using the accusative. The destination of rebirth is the accusative, not the locative. Okay, so I'll just go through the whole paragraph quickly, putting everything together. Okay, the Blessed One said this, when, O householder, for a noble disciple, four defilements of action are abandoned, and he does not do an evil deed on 4 grounds or in 4 ways, and he does not engage in the 6 channels for the loss of wealth or possessions. He is thus gone away from evil, or he's thus gone away from 14 types of evil. He is one who covers the 6 directions. He is one who is practicing for victory in both worlds. For him, this world is successful. Or to say, for him, life in this world is successful. And also, the other world, in brackets, is successful. With the breakup of the body after death, he is reborn in a good destination in the heavenly world. Okay, paragraph. Any questions about this remaining?
Yeah, there's one thing.
Oh.
The spelling, it has a dot underneath the N
Yeah.
in the book.
Yeah.
When I looked it up, is that a misspelling or is it?
It's possible it could have 2 spellings, either with the dot or without. You looked it up where?
Those in the book.
I see in the glossary it has it without the dot.
Yeah, and then also online there's
I think but either spelling is acceptable. Okay, paragraph 2. Maybe Wenjun, you like to take this? Yeah. Etadahosi. Right. Yeah. Or then, here, then, yeah. It's a sequence, a narrative sequence. Continue. Yeah. Yeah. Blessed One. Yeah. 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 Okay, so this occurred, this thought occurred. Yeah. Etadahosi means literally this occurred, but it's used, that expression is used, like in English we say, this occurred to me. It means a thought or an idea occurred to him. Okay, continue. Yanunahang. Yeah, they're long. The U and the second A are long. And there's a double N. Yanunahang. Yeah. Right. Yeah, Yanunahang, it's, or Yanuna, is used when somebody is considering something, like, should I, let me do this, let me do that. Suppose now I were to do this. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. 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 Right. Ataka vachara. Right. Right. Okay, very good. Okay, translate. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. Difficult to see. Or difficult to understand. I think it's better to put it difficult to understand. Yeah. 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 Yeah, this Ataka Vacharo. It's another example of the Bahubihi compound. It's the two-car garage compound. Okay, here Taka means logic or reasoning. Then Avachara means range or domain. Then the is negation. So, and then all of this is qualifying Dhamma. So, not the domain of reasoning or logic. And then, since it's qualifying Dhamma, it is declined in the same way as Dhamma. Here it's a nominative singular. Okay, continue. Subtle, nipuno, subtle. Right. Right, very good. Yeah, this Pandita Vedaniyo, this is also a two-car garage compound. And it's qualifying Dhamma. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. To be known, understood, experienced, yeah. By the wise, yeah, yeah. Tabo Vinyuhi. It's almost exactly the same, yeah. The same actual meaning, but it's a different words. There's the verse of homage to the Dhamma. It has Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo. Then the last phrase is Pachatang Veti Tabo Vinyuhi. Pachatang means within oneself, for oneself. Pachatang. Veti Tabo. It functions the same, it's from the same root. It's just an alternative form. Vedaniyo, Veti Tabo. Alternative forms of the same word. Then Vinyuhi means wise. Wise people, the same as Pandita. Okay, maybe Wei Zhong, you want to take over from here? With Alaya Rama. Did I point out that there was a typographical, or even it's a wrong choice? Yeah, there should be two M's. Alaya Sam Mudita. You have to make that should be a double M. Alaya Sam Mudita. And then it occurs twice. Yeah. It occurs again in the next line. Okay. Translate. Yeah. Yeah, this is a little tricky. I have to help with this. Because there's no verb in this sentence. So the verb is just implicit, implied. And then these compounds are somewhat difficult. Okay, alaya, like the opposite of our friend analayo. Alaya is like attachment, objects of attachment, or enjoyment, you could say. Right, well, okay. So, okay, then this alaya, alay. In fact, there's another typographical mistake. It should be alay. After the Y, there should be a long A. Again, it comes twice. It's alaya plus arama. It's after Y, that A after the Y should be a long A.
Now we have 3 long A's.
Right, 3 long A's.
Actually 4.
Counting the first one, 4. Okay, this is arama. Okay, so arama. Yeah, one meaning is monastery, but it doesn't mean that this generation hangs out in monasteries. But arama is enjoyment or rejoicing. Let's say delighting. So this, okay, but then the subject of the sentence, this is why it's the syntax is difficult, is ayang paja. You have to break up pana plus ayang. And ayang paja means this population, in other words, humankind, or the human world. Pan plus ayang. And kopana, so it's kopana. So now kopana is it shows continuity. It has the function of but, or like however. This population delights in attachment. You see, the first word is functions like an adjective qualifying paja, population, or let's say humankind. Okay, so this humankind delights in attachment, and alaya rama is what kind of compound? No. It's not a tapurisa. You see, okay, it's not a tapurisa because it's functioning as an adjective, qualifying another noun. Yeah. It's bahubehi, the 2-car garage compound. No, the compound, the Pali expression is much rice compound. With a field with much rice is called bahubihi ketan. But people know they don't have rice fields, but they have garages. So 2-car garage, it doesn't mean that one has 2 cars, but it's a garage which can hold 2 cars. So 2 cars, suppose we have the S, 2 cars garage. 2 cars functions as an adjective describing the garage. Okay, so this this humankind, however, this humankind delights in attachment. Then the next descriptive phrase, alaya ratta. It's almost, I would translate it almost the same way, but now make it with ratta is a past participle. So I would say is delighted in attachment. And then alaya samudita. Samudita comes from the root mood, which means to take joy. Here's the verb modity. Then the sum just intensifies it. And okay, mudita is past participle, but it takes on the sense, the mudita together, of taking joy, or you would say rejoicing in. Modity is a verb, to take joy, to find joy. Now I use, I think, altruistic joy just the less. But here it's not mudita. It's the same, basically the same word, but it's not being used in that special sense. Yeah. Yeah. Right. It comes out awkwardly in English. It would sound almost incomprehensible. One has to take a little liberty. Alaya samudita. Okay, rejoice. Yeah, I would say rejoices in. It functions with a more active meaning. Okay, you want to continue? Yeah. Pajaya. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yadidang. Yeah. Wait, ida pachayata, finish. No. Samupado. Right. Yet, just take that sentence. Right. No. Translate it as a dative, not an instrumental. For would work better. No. Find now the subject of this long dative clause. What is the subject being described by the adjectives? No. What I mean is not the subject of the sentence, but this is a string here. This whole clause forms a string in which there's one noun being described by a series of adjectival compounds. Okay, I see. I have to help. Okay. So it's pajaya. Okay, so that means pajaya means what? Yeah, in fact, humankind. It's as a dative, yeah. So for this population, or for a population, or for humankind, which rejoices in attachment, which is delighted by attachment. For humankind which delights in attachment. That's alaya ramaya, which is delighted by attachment. Alaya rattaya, which rejoices in attachment. Alaya sammuditaya. Okay, for such a generation, or for such a population, tu dasang idang tanang. Tu dasang means difficult to see. And tanang here, you could say state, case. I think state works best. State. Or actually state maybe doesn't. Sometimes it does. Well, I wouldn't say conclusion. It's a very open word. It's not the state of enlightenment now, but he's talking about ida pachayata paticca samupado. You could even say this principle, maybe. Yeah. Well, okay, they give fact. That's broad enough. Fact or principle. Okay, so this principle is difficult to see. Yadidang. Yadidang means like namely, or that is to say. And ida pachayata, I see having its foundation in this, not such causally. Actually, those are bad renderings. I think I didn't give alternative renderings to these pages. I did say that, did I? Yeah, okay, because I don't have them written into my book. So, ita pachayata, you would say, means conditionality. The word pachaya means condition. Ta turns it into an abstract noun. Conditionality. Originally it has idam, which gives it the sense, like I render it, specific conditionality. Idang simply means this. So it's the specific law by which one thing, or it's the law by which one thing functions as a specific condition for something else. Then the the final of idang, gets assimilated to the following p. So it becomes turned into a p. Ida pachayata.
Can you explain again why you say specific conditionality?
Because of that word idang. If you just take pachayata by itself, it would mean conditionality. But idang implies that this law is saying that one thing functions as a specific condition for something else.
What does it mean here? Describing as conditionality.
Well, usually in the formula it says like birth is the condition for old age and death. Bhava is the existence, is the condition for birth. So each one of these terms is the specific main condition for the following term. So that seems to be the sense of idang. This is the condition for that.
Okay, and then the more general term
Paticca samuppada. Yeah. That is dependent, usually translated dependent origination. Okay, you want to continue, Wei Chung? These passages, it's quite difficult, so I'm taking all the translation away from you. Yeah. Sabba sankhara samato. Right. Kayo. Tanha kayo. Yeah. Wait. Look at the first word there. Yeah. There's a P there. What is that P? Not quite again. What is the P? Right. Or two. Not conclusion is not good. Okay. Let's say this principle or fact two is difficult to see. Yadidang. Okay, continue. Yeah. Oh, I see. I'm sure that I gave alternatives to these renderings. Okay, let me give my rendering of this. Okay, Sabba Sankhara Samato. Samato here is the calming down or stilling. Sabba Sankhara could be taken, sometimes it means conditioned things in general, sometimes it means volitional activities of the mind. So one could interpret this phrase in two ways. Say the calming down of all mental activities, or else the calming down or stilling of all conditioned phenomena. Yeah. Phenomena. Yeah. I take upati here to be acquisitions is better, yeah. Okay, the relinquishing of all acquisitions. Or you could say all objects of attachment. Tanha kayo, craving of what? No. Wenjun? Tanha kayo? Yeah, destruction of craving. That's a tapurisa compound. Actually, all of these three are tapurisa compounds. Sabba sankhara samato, sabupadi patinisago tanha kayo. Okay, continue. Virago. Yeah. With nirvana, nibbana. Okay, last sentence. Ahancheva. Okay. Yeah. Desayam. Yeah. Ajaneyam. Ajaneyung. Yeah. Mamasa. Yeah. Vihesat. Should be able to translate like this. You don't know. You didn't do the homework? You don't know aham sheva. What is aham sheva? Yeah, it's ahang, which means I, plus cheva, and with just the emphasis. Well, ava, it joins with parecha. Okay. Or actually, wait. I would actually take this ahang followed by che plus ava. Possibly. Then it would give the sense a better sense. If I were to teach the Dhamma, ahang is I, then normally cheva is broken down into ch plus ava, which means and with a little emphasis. But there's another word, che, which means if. And so we could take this to be che plus ava. That makes better sense. Well, there's still three words. They're just joined. So if I were to teach the Dhamma, parecha me na ajaneyung, and others would not understand me, so mam asa kilamato, that would be for me, kilamato means like weariness, tired, fatiguing. Sa mam asa vihesa, that would be vihesa, troublesome, trouble for me. Okay, so putting it all together from the start of this passage too. Then, O monks, this occurred to Vipassi, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. Let me now teach the Dhamma. Or maybe it's the question, should I now teach the Dhamma? Then, O monks, this occurred to Vipassi, the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the fully enlightened One. This Dhamma, or this truth that I have attained, is deep, hard to see, hard to understand, peaceful, excellent, outside the range of logic, subtle, to be realized by the wise. However, this population delights in attachment, is delighted by attachment, rejoices in attachment. However, for a population that delights in attachment, that is delighted by attachment, that rejoices in attachment, this principle is difficult to see. Namely, specific conditionality, dependent origination. This principle or fact, too, is difficult to see. Namely, the stilling of all mental activities or of all conditioned things, the relinquishing of all acquisitions or objects of attachment, the destruction of craving, dispassion, cessation, nibbana. However, if I were to teach the Dhamma and others would not understand me, that would be fatiguing for me. That would be troublesome for me. Exactly the same, yeah. It's just projected back into the past.
I have a question.
Yeah.
About Sulamanto
Yeah.
and Viveka.
Yeah.
I think they're both
Yeah.
but I think the function is adjective. Are they adjectives?
Well, here they're nouns actually,
They're nouns?
but maybe I put it into adjective. That would be wariness for me. That would be trouble for me.
So why isn't it in
Because they are the subject. That would be for me. That would be for me. Wearisome. Wariness.
worry?
Yeah. It's not the object of anything, but it's the subject of the phrase.
And also, when you change the aham seva, I thought it would make sense, but since we have opposites for the Jayam and also Ajanaya, like a name,
Yeah.
wouldn't that imply if and since we have a cha for the second one, we didn't have a cha for the first one.
Yeah.
Doesn't it break down with both this and that happen? As if I have to have, I teach them and they don't understand. Otherwise, if you have che just at one place,
Yeah.
then it seems to me that only the first clause will
Yeah.
be his clause.
Yeah.
The second clause about people don't understand me doesn't have a che. Don't we need another che and also another cha?
Oh, I see.
And I'm saying that we don't need a che because we have...
No, I don't think we need another che. Because the cha, pare cha, seems to allow that clause to be governed by the same che.
Okay.
So if I were to teach the Dhamma and others would not understand me, just as in English.
So we don't need two cha? Don't we need to say something cha, something cha?
Normally that is said, but here the cha, I don't know, it's a good question.
So che va cha makes it both they're equal. The two clauses are equal.
Yeah.
And I don't think we adding a che with adding to since we already have the opposite.
Yeah.
The sense of yes.
Yeah, I think that's enough. So we don't have, just as in English when you say, if I were to teach the Dhamma, we don't have to say, and if others wouldn't understand me. You could just say, if I were to teach the Dhamma and others would not understand me.
So one cha would be enough? Just one cha?
Normally one has two, but maybe here just one.
Okay. And also, we have the alaya ramaya,
Yeah.
the basic form. They have a long A for the second A. Is that a typo?
Right. Oh, that's another typographical error. Yes. Yeah, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down. The second A there should be short. Alayaramai. But all the other A's, except for the last one, are long. They're quite difficult, I have to say. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not he or she. But kilamato is masculine. Kilamato, which means weariness or fatigue. So it needs, the pronoun that goes with it is masculine, so. And vihesa, which means trouble. I don't think this was the work of monkish editors. The word meaning vihesa, which means trouble, is feminine. So it needs a feminine pronoun, sa. Why does it have the feminine pronoun? Because kilamato is masculine and vihesa is feminine. So kilamato gets the masculine pronoun. So yeah, so kilamato and sa vihesa. Kilamato is more weariness, fatigue. Yeah. But to put it into idiomatic English, we can't be too literal. So we would say that would be fatiguing for me, that would be troublesome for me. But in Pali it would read, that would be weariness, or that would be fatigue for me, that would be trouble for me. Okay, I want to give you, did I give you alternative renderings for lesson 10? Yeah, I looked through. I didn't find very much that has to be changed. On page 137, at the top, Manku Bhava. That could also mean embarrassment or embarrassment. Then on page 139, on page 138, it seems that the section number 4 was omitted. Section number 4 should come towards the bottom where you have a present or past participle with its appropriate objects. In front of that paragraph you should have 4. Then on page 139, I think it should read by adding p and the e suffix to verb roots ending in a. On page 139, towards the bottom, you have number 2. By adding p and the e suffix to verb roots ending in long a, rather than stems. And for the further readings, yeah. Oh, right. I didn't catch it. It should be P-U-double-N with wiggle on top. Page 141, number 11. Kata punyo. Number 11, it's in a small type. Okay, then page 145, about one quarter of the way up. Banda Mulang. I think one should strike out one M. Page 145, about 1/3 of the way up the page, there's a word Banda Mulang, meaning capital. I think one M should be taken out. There's a double M in the middle of the word. There should only be one M. Capital money, yeah. And that's the only change that I made. But sometimes when we go through the actual passage and I realize that the rendering that they give is not so satisfactory. Okay, any questions? So next time we'll finish this chapter, which I thought we would finish today, and then go on to the grammar of the next chapter.